I deactivated my Facebook account and deleted Instagram. And this was incredibly hard for me to do. I love so much about these social media platforms: connections, consolations, congratulations. And I love the baby laughing videos. One night my husband Peter showed me one on his Instagram feed, and I kept saying, let's watch another one. And then, oh, one more. And the more we watched, the more his feed was filled with these delightful babies. But imagine scrolling and scrolling through a feed curated by the company's algorithm after liking an exercise video one day, and then being entranced by reel after reel, photo after photo of perfectly sculpted figures, chiseled abs, beautiful glowing skin, and the joy that obviously accompanies having such a body. Well, it now seems clear that Facebook knew and hid research that showed just how addictive and harmful its products can be to girls and women. Internal documents confirmed that Instagram made body issues worse for 1 out of 3 girls. We've known for a long time how much outsized influence even a 2-minute ad or one photo, think Marlboro Man, can have. Well, Philip Morris knew cigarettes cause lung cancer. Purdue Pharma knew its opioids would lead to addiction and death. Coca-Cola knew its sugary drink contributes to multiple health problems. And don't get me started on alcohol advertising. Often before the rest of us knew the real harms of these things. Paul, in today's letter to the Romans, says there's no excuse for those who know the truth, but through their wickedness suppress it. Those who exchanged the truth of God for a lie and revered and worshipped the creature rather than the Creator. Jesus, too, has harsh words for the Pharisees, who cleanse the outside of the cup and the dish, but are filled with plunder and evil on the inside. He calls them fools for focusing on the outside rather than the inside. Social media platforms seem to lead us into the same traps, focusing on the outside rather than the inside, worshiping the creature rather than the Creator. But there is something deeper and more subtle going on in our addiction to social media than just being drawn in by the possibility of having a perfect body. And I think it's the illusion that we can have perfect lives. Advertising, social media did not create the unrealistic expectation, even if they've definitely stoked it. If you're not living your best life, we seem to think, it's because you're doing it wrong. You're not eating the right foods, doing the right exercises, saying the right prayers, thinking positively enough, surrounding yourself with the right people. We hear, hey, failure's not an option. Or pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Suffering is not optional. Jesus did not suffer and die so that we would not suffer, unfortunately. But also, he did not suffer so that we Catholics would glorify suffering. But that's another conversation. We know that God is with us in our suffering, and that suffering is a consequence of any life lived in love. I just finished the excellent book, No Cure for Being Human, and Other Truths I Need to Hear, by Kate Bowler. She's a professor of the history of Christianity at Duke University, and at 35 years old, she was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. This is from the inside cover. With dry wit and unflinching honesty, Kate Bowler grapples with her diagnosis, her ambition, and her faith as she tries to come to terms with her limitations in a culture that says anything is possible. We are, she says, as fragile as the day we were born, and we're going to need one another if we're going to tell the truth. Life is beautiful and terrible, full of hope and despair and everything in between, and there's no cure for being human. I am standing right now in the west of Ireland. As Instagram worthy as the scene behind me truly is, Ireland is not all rainbows and sunsets, and many in this land, a place the Irish poet W.B. Yeats calls a terrible beauty, understand this. I myself am only beginning to.